Whether you're trained to be the world's strongest man or just want to be the strongest you can be, if you follow these 5 principles of strength, this will help you create the best body you can that can weather any challenge you put in front of it and help you overcome any odds. If you're able to follow all of these principles of strength that have been tested and can impact the amount of strength that the body can produce, it will help you achieve a new level. But before that, thank you for taking the time to view my video, as this is one of my first videos, and if it blows up, I'll be sure to come out with more content even more quickly. And a little side note is that all the information I'll be telling you about is backed by studies, and the main one I'm using is a systematic review, which I will leave in the description below. Now with that said, let's get into it. So what is strength? Strength to me means having your body be the most it can be and produce the most power it can possibly create. And most of the time, fitness instructors or even medically trained professionals will not talk about these factors that influence strength. And most of the time, they usually assume it's derived from a person's muscles, which is partly true. But if you follow these principles, I promise you it will help you unlock this hidden strength so you can use it to your advantage. Starting with the first principle of strength, which is muscle hypertrophy, meaning how much muscle you have and how big the muscle is, which of course everyone knows factors into strength. So what I'll do, I'll lay out 3 ways you can help accelerate your muscles hypertrophy and create it in the shortest amount of time. I'll only lay out 3 ways because to go into it, it takes a lot more time and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this subject, but we'll be happy to in future videos. So one of the easiest ways you can create muscle hypertrophy with exercise is through using resistance bands. As with the resistance bands, it will engage the agonist and antagonistic muscles of the body, meaning if you're doing a bicep curl with a resistance band, you'll be using your bicep and your tricep for the exercise, as the resistance band will challenge you throughout the entire movement of coming up with the bicep curl and coming down with the bicep curl, leading to improved hypertrophy gains in the muscle. The next method for improving muscle hypertrophy is with your tempo, with your exercise, because if you're trying to do it as quickly as possible, you're just cheating yourself and you're reducing the gains you can make in growing your muscle. So what I recommend is following a tempo of 5 seconds to complete the movement and 5 seconds when resetting the movement. Meaning if you're doing a bicep curl, it will take 5 seconds to complete the curl coming all the way up, and it will take 5 seconds coming all the way down. It may not seem like much you're doing, but by controlling your tempo, you are further activating the muscle and creating a better mind-to-muscle connection, which will allow for great outputs of strength in the future, as well as starting to feel a huge burn in the muscle you're using. You may also notice you're not able to do the same amount of reps as you normally would do, but this will lead to higher strength gains and muscle gains in the future if you can maintain this tempo. Now the final method for muscle hypertrophy is one of my favorites, which is working until failure. Meaning if you're doing an exercise, you keep on working until you are no longer able to complete the exercise. So let's say you're doing 20 push-ups, and if you can do more once you're done, but you don't want to, that's wrong, because you got to keep working until you can't do any more, until you're at failure and you're no longer able to push any out. Because by doing this, you're going to further stress that muscle and put more intensity on there, so it can lead to greater and bigger gains in your arms. Now, like I said, there are a lot more ways of building muscle, which I will get into with some of my future videos, but these are some of the most reliable options I always recommend. The next principle of strength focuses on the connective tissue in the muscle, as the connective tissue in the muscle allows for sending signals through the nerves to allow for contractions of the muscle and can factor into how strong a person can become. So if you're able to increase the connective tissue in the muscle to allow for stronger signals to be sent, you can allow for the force to be generated to be increased and access more power that the muscle can generate. So there are some methods to increase the connective tissue, but I'll just go into one to keep it short. So what you can do to increase the connective tissue in the muscle is practice isometric exercises, as isometric exercises are one of the best things you can do to improve the signals that are being sent to your nerves. Like, for example, when you're trying to move a immovable object and you're just not moving it and you're just continually putting force on it and putting pressure and focusing. By doing this, you're allowing for a better mind to muscle connection, which, if done repeatedly over time, can increase the connective tissue in the body, which, if done consistently and repeatedly over a period of time, can lead to a greater generation of force output from the muscle. The next principle, and one of the most important principles of strength, is tendon stiffness. Now, what you may not know is the tendons are not a part of the muscle fibers, but are a completely separate tissue that connects from the muscle to the ligaments of the body. Now, this is a general thing that is often overlooked by many professionals for the reason that they think just by strengthening the muscle, that is all they need to do, and this can sometimes lead to muscle ruptures or even tears in the muscle that can set you back. Now, the tendons of the muscle are not only to keep you safe, but when strengthened, have been shown to factor into increasing the amount of force a person can generate. So you have to train your tendons. And to strengthen your tendons, one of the best exercises you can do is isometric exercises, just like the ones I discussed before. I would be happy to do a video about it in the future, so please subscribe and support me. The next principle of strength is the muscle attachment in the body. Now, this is a harder principle to train, but it can be trained, as this is basically where the tendons and muscles attach to in the body. So let's say on your femur you have a short attachment from your femur to your knee, as the muscle fibers are short. What this will generally do is decrease the amount of force you can produce as the attachment is shorter. Now, if we look at another example where you have a longer attachment, such as in basketball players like LeBron James or Stephen Curry, they are remarkable individuals that have a lot of strength feats and can produce and generate tons of force when they're playing their sports. Or if you look at another example, such as bodybuilding athletes, they tend to produce a lot of force because they're a lot taller and have longer attachments of muscle. So what you may be asking or saying to yourself is, this is almost impossible to change. And yes, it is hard to change, but it can be changed. Now, one of the methods you can do to change this is performing full range of motion activities. So an example of this would be if you're doing a bench press or you're doing a dip, you can change how the muscle grows and attaches to the body by performing full range of motion exercises, where you're going all the way down and all the way up with the movement to the fullest extent that you can, as this will allow the muscle to grow further along the bone, thus creating a longer attachment in the body. And then another method you can use to further lengthen the muscle fibers in your body is through stretching, which I can get into in a later video, but of course, please let me know what you think in the comments sections. Now, the final principle of strength is specificity of training. Now, what this means is your body will naturally adapt to whatever you're training it to perform. So if you were to compare the force of a punch from a guy who is very muscular and weighs 180 pounds compared to a boxer who is of a similar build, and put them side to side and have them throw a punch, what you would be surprised to learn is that the boxer is usually able to throw a punch that has more force than the guy who goes to the gym, even if the boxer is not as strong as the one who goes to the gym. The reason why this is because the boxer has honed his body and practiced those movements over and over and over to create a body that can produce a punch that can surpass anyone who is even stronger than him. So a way you can train this is you have to have a clear idea of what you want to train your body to do. Such as if you're wanting to train your body to fight someone off or to excel at a sport, you got to train those movements over and over and somehow incorporate that into your training. Such as if you're wanting to kick a soccer ball hard enough so you can score a goal, you got to practice that same type of movement such as kicking the ball. I would recommend maybe practicing with a resistance band, long arc quads, as this could be a great way to further strengthen that knee. Or let's say you just want an amazing physique and you want to be able to excel at most sports. What I would recommend doing is performing calisthenic exercises, as this works to train out a lot of compound muscles that can be useful in day-to-day activities and a lot of general sports, and also reduce your risk of injuries while working, and can have a lot more benefits if done correctly. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for staying around for the end of the video. I appreciate all of it. You guys are the real deal, amazing. So one other thing I want to let you guys know is I have a goal for this channel. I want to reach 1 million subscribers. If you guys can help me reach that goal, I promise to become a full-time YouTube content creator. I'll spend most of my time making great videos for you guys. So if you love this video, please share it, make it blow up, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace out.